Hey everybody, welcome to another segment of Tony's show, and today it's going to be a short one. I've just been running like crazy and I'm behind and trying to compile everything that I've just getting sent to me throughout the day. Today it was, I don't know, I just couldn't sort anything going. So I figured I would just touch on certain basic things. I've had people send me all day long about the coronavirus and 5G and all that. We heard this 5G coronavirus bullshit 4 or 5 months ago. How coronavirus was activating the skin. This is nothing new. This is nothing new at all. I'm surprised that this has come up again, quite frankly. I didn't buy into it then, and I don't buy into it now because I understand how the nano works. And the nano has a quantum dot program to infiltrate the skin and activate whatever they design in it. Frequencies aren't yet even necessary, number one. Number two, the 5G has very little power to penetrate much of anything. So I've been telling people about 6G and we're still back on 5G. We're still hung up on 5G. Can't fathom that in my own mind. Chinese are using 6G, East India is using 7G, and the United States and Canada are putting in 6G. They might be telling us they're putting in 5G, but they're not. We already got facial recognition programs and all kinds of things that they can now determine without even having a full facial look. They can ID you. So I seen all this, read all this. I read this, like I said, it's a rehash. It's almost for me like a deja vu. Seen this before, and I thought, what a load of bullshit then, and still I think it's a load of bullshit now. And just because it's publicized in NIH doesn't make it a fact either. Just to let you guys know, NIH has been known to have false research in their databases. And depending on who paid for the research or who propagated the research, determined it getting in and whatever. Some things are just not scientific. And you have to really do your digging on a lot of things. Since I've gotten involved with the whole nano bio infiltration, morphology, and access, the one thing is really certain. Everything that we're being affected with is by design being activated by frequencies and programming. Brian and myself have been saying this for at least 12 years. 12 years we've been saying the things we've been saying on nanobiotech, quantum dots, fullerenes, self-assembly, self-repair, self-replicating, morphologies, the whole thing, everything that we're being assaulted with today is contingent on a program and an activation. And once you've been loaded up with the particle matters, the particulates that they put into the system, and everybody by now is pretty well saturated, now it's a matter of turning it on. And turning it on doesn't require 5G either. Got news for you. AM and FM will turn it on. An RF signal will turn it on. An EMF will turn it on. Light photons will turn it on. Sound will turn it on. We've been saying that for at least 12 years as well. And like I said, all I'm seeing right now is a recycling or rehashing of information that has already been presented once and now is being presented again. And I've been saying for a long time that the 5G is a distraction. They got everybody hung up on 5G and nobody is paying attention to 6G. Nobody was paying attention to nano either when we were talking about nano. Nobody even knew what nano was. Nobody knew about nano poisoning, nanobiology, nanobiotech, nothing. Okay, and we were telling people about these things back then. And you know what? It's the same thing. They get you stuck on a paradigm. They get you stuck on a concept. Everybody just goes gung-ho, and nobody opens their eyes and realizes that if other countries are advancing in the telecommunications network, or in telecommunications, period, and they're using a higher frequency band, don't you think that it only makes sense that they're going to be doing the same thing here? 6G is a by far superior killing machine than 5G ever could. If you remember the guy on the FCC, and they were talking about putting in 5G in all the poles, and they were a direct beam, they had to cut down a lot of trees. because the trees block the frequencies. If the trees block the frequencies, the house may have been able to do it too, depending on the type of siding, brick, or wood that they used, and depending on, again, the intensity of the frequency. 6G, on the other hand, goes through everything. Doesn't matter what it is. There's no real material that you can use to stop it unless you're using a frequency that matches or equalizes the terahertz coming through the door. And we're going to be seeing more and more of that kind of activity going on. I get more and more emails today on targeted individuals, frequency assault, directed energy hits, nano poisoning, nano assemblage. The emails have shifted. Years ago, I was dealing with cancers and autoimmune disorders and STDs, liver issues, respiratory issues. I still deal with those, but on a marginally smaller level now. Because the new assault that's coming in is taking over, and more people are crashing because of the assaults happening. When we're looking up in the sky, we see the chemtrails coming down on us. They're still chemtrailing. Some people write and say, oh, we haven't seen the chemtrail in 99 million years. Oh, Trump must have done something. Trump just pulled the wool over your eyes. That's all that happened there. The military-industrial complex rules America. Don't you ever forget that. It's fascism and corporocracies that control the military-industrial complex. That's who rules America. Okay. The real owners of America and the real owners of Canada are a whole different ballgame. So when you hear a president or a prime minister making some claims or comments, I assure you, they're only saying what they're allowed to say. And as far as chemtrails goes, I just saw one today that went it was last 2 days actually, going from northwest to southeast. And it dispersed very quickly. The line was there, and then it spread or dispersed. And tomorrow I'll probably have people call me because they're having respiratory issues. That's what usually happens after a chemtrail assault. We are going to be hit with a lot of data. And processing the data has to be done in perspective. Understanding the overall picture to the best of your ability. If we know nanoparticles are already been programmed to go inside the body, activate, deactivate, integrate, network, build connections, build implants, the whole 9 yards. And this is already being done without frequency activation, done because because your body's body energy, body electric, or even your thermal in your body charges up the quantum dots to activate the transmissions to follow the orders or follow the program. Then we have to start looking at these other things that they're saying, and we have to look at them very, very. We need to scrutinize very, very critically. I don't believe nothing. I gotta tell you something. I don't believe jack shit. That's just the way I'm built. I don't believe nothing unless it can be substantiated. And one research is not a substantiation. And when you can see a carryover in a lot of different experiments, and the experiments are done in the real world, real life, not some lab, because again, lab control doesn't give you the same response as something that's been put out in the open. And they are experimenting with everybody out in the open. This is something that everybody better pay attention to. They're no longer doing animal studies and this study. They said to hell with the animal studies. We'll just go right to the people studies. We'll hit them with frequencies, and then we'll get a reading from the clinics and the hospitals that they're visiting to determine the damage or the effect of our experiment. That's what's going on. This COVID is such bullshit, it's not even funny. And speaking of COVID, the COVID boogeyman is now coming to Alberta and Lethbridge and Calgary and all the mayors and in Alberta have now been bribed. Bill Gates must be sitting in meetings across Canada with all the mayors and premiers in the country. And he must be offering them a substantial amount of money to propagate a technology that just doesn't work. Masks don't stop jack shit. Period. And they want everybody to wear masks. They want everybody to follow Baal. They want everybody to follow Moloch. And this is what this is. This is a form of satanic worship as well. That you've decided to follow Lucifer. That's your choice. That is your call. That's what you want to do. But some of us would rather stand with the truth. The truth is the masks don't work. The truth is some of us do believe in the living God. I, for one, believe in the living God. I don't believe in satanic stuff. I don't believe in demonic stuff. I do acknowledge that those things do exist, but they are not my God. Period. Okay, and that's where we need to understand these things. Remember this: in Canada, you have 3 exemptions. Okay, not to wear a mask. And I had a guy call me today from Hamilton. I think this is what kind of threw me off today. And he said Hamilton is also now talking about making masks mandatory in condominiums. I mean, are you kidding me? What mayor is this bloody stupid? But the stupidity of it all, you can't enforce this. How are you going to enforce this? You know. But what they're doing is they're testing the stupid level. You know, they got the stupid meter. They got these stupid meters out all over the place, right? So when people follow these mandates, which they don't have to, the mandates, if they follow them, will register on the stupid meter. And then all of a sudden they're registered saying, oh, this one's stupid. This one is really stupid. Wow, this one is beyond belief stupid. They are not only wearing hand condoms and the mask, they're also putting a condom on their head too. Wow, we got this one by the credentials. We are not in a world, like I said, of ethical or moral concepts. Whatever perspective or perception we have on that was never true, ever. Ever. And nothing is being substantiated properly either. My son and I were having a discussion. They were talking about Trump and some of the things he did. And I said to him, he made a comment about one thing that he did. And I said, maybe. I said, maybe. I said, there's no documentation substantiating what that is even true even. So when we're looking at some of the factoids, because these are factoids, and when somebody's tweeting things, and they're tweeting things all over the place, one minute they're saying yes, next minute they're saying no, then you have to question the soundness of mind, whoever's making these tweets. And you also have to question if there's something going on where you have that kind of divergence in the truth. 1 minute this, 1 minute that. But in Canada, I've said this many times, we are the second most corrupt government on the planet. India is number 1, we're number 2, and Venezuela is number 3. America, you didn't win a number 1 here now, but you're moving up the scale, just so I can see. So when you're dealing with a corrupt government like this, it doesn't take much to corrupt the government further. Why is Bill Gates sitting in meetings with the mayors of the Greater Toronto Area? I'm proposing that he may have also sat in meetings with the people in Alberta and Hamilton and other places that are trying to force mandatory masks in your own domain. I am surprised that Canadians haven't spoken Canadian and used the FRO term and told the government to FRO. With a technology that doesn't work, doesn't do anything except cost you money. And so anyway, this guy was asking me these questions of what he should do and what blah, blah, blah. I said, look, I personally don't give a flying flamingo about what anybody else thinks. I could care less if they look at me. I could care less if they don't. If they say something to me, I will speak my mind. I will tell them straight up. When someone comes up to you and says you're being selfish, you can tell them to FRO. And then you can ask them very politely, is your mask working? And if they say yes, then you don't have to worry about me. I'm the one that doesn't have a mask. If anything should happen, it comes on my head, not yours. And the other thing you can also say, take a look around you, halfwit, nitwit, idiot. Do you actually see somebody dropping dead in front of you? See, again, they're so caught up on the media bullshit, media jargon, that they can't even look with their own eyes and see what's going on right in front of their noses. So when people give you any kind of bullshit about wearing a mask, just tell them to eat FRO, number one, mind your own business, number two. It says, you're not my mother, you're not my dad, and I don't feel the need to be complicit because you want me to wear a mask. You can kiss my Mediterranean ass, and you can say it just that way. Even if you're not Mediterranean, it has a nice ring to it. I'm not kidding. I told this guy the same thing. I said the problem with Canadians is we're stupid. We're bloody stupid. We are so worried about what other people think that we will be complicit to whatever bullshit somebody says. This makes us morons. This makes us extremely moronic. Why are we complying to wear a technology that doesn't work and causes more health issues than the COVID does? See, this is what I'm saying. Nobody thinks. And everybody's worried about not wearing a mask because somebody might say something. Tell them to chuck you Farley. Basically, seriously, I mean, you know what I'm saying there. Men, especially in my generation, you should still have your balls in check. And you should be able to still have some testosterone left in you. Perhaps this is a good time to exercise that testosterone and, utilize those balls for something useful. Instead of just, basically allowing yourself to be neutered further. Having a circumcision just takes away your willy kind of thing and just leaves you, into this fem state. This is so wrong on so many levels. On so many levels. And just going on because somebody gets upset, F them. That's their problem. That's simple. That's simple. Nobody lives my life for me. Nobody. I live my own life. God gave me 2 hands, 2 feet, and a heartbeat. That was for me. Not for somebody else. Not for somebody else to try to force me to comply or to be complicit to some ridiculous bullshit that they're propagating. How many of you actually, and I told the guy also, look at the stock market. How many of you actually looked at the stock market and see the stocks of hand sanitizers and hand condoms and face masks rise? It's about 1,000% increase. Now ask yourself this question. Who made all the money? Who's making all the money? Well, let's see now. Bill Gates is a billionaire. He could buy into the stocks, create the agenda and the fear-mongering that he's created. Oh, everybody will never go back to normal until everybody gets a vaccine. The whole planet's got to be vaccinated. Like, who the F is this guy? What is this guy? He ain't a doctor. He ain't nothing medical. I'm a herbalist. I work with orthomolecular. I work with herbals. I work with nanobiotech. I work with EMP pulsing techniques as well. I'm more qualified to make a decision than this guy could ever be. Tell you what he's got that gives him qualifications. He's got money. So then he goes to the mayors and the premiers of Canada. Says, listen, I need you guys to do me a favor. I will pay you handsomely by making your people in your communities wear these masks. They don't do jack shit. They do sweet FA. But I want you to have them buy these masks and wear them, because then I'll give you a kickback. The stocks will go up and we'll all be rich. They're too stupid to know any better. They won't look anything up. They're dumb. They'll follow. The television has got them brainwashed. They will believe whatever bullshit we tell them. So have them make a mandate. Can't really make that a law, but make it a mandate. They'll believe it's a legal thing. They'll put on those masks, and we'll get rich. See, there's no reason in the world to wear these masks. Someone says, well, I'm protecting you. You ain't protecting shit. None of you are protecting me. My immune system is protecting me. What you're doing is creating problems for everybody's immune system by wearing masks, carrying contaminants from every place you go. Plus, your exosomes are being caught up in your mask, which means you're recycling your own shit, literally. You are releasing nitrogen from your breath, so those masks are releasing toxic gases that can cause all kinds of cancers, and most of you will have a brain cancer in about a year or two. This is the perfect assassin weapon. You couldn't, I gotta give it to Gates and Soros and the rest of them. I gotta tell you, they have designed the perfect killjoy, or the perfect kill switch. This is the perfect kill switch. Get people to commit suicide by putting on something that can cause a poisonous side effect, which will cause an autoimmune breakdown, causing cancers of all kinds: thymus, thyroid, throat, lip, tongue, brain, facial cancers, heart. Perfect sabotage, perfect killjoy, perfect kill switch. Keep wearing your mask. More for me. I told that to a friend of mine today. I said, I just keep telling her, more for me. If they're dead and gone, there'll be more for me. And it'll be cheaper. This is, like I said, this is the ridiculousness of what we're dealing with today. This is so ridiculous. See, we got bigger problems going on in Canada and the United States. We got a corrupt political system that, under the guise of this COVID bullshit, and under the guise of these fakery and these effery laws they're creating, or mandates they're creating, they're hijacking Canada. This is a good country. I've come to love this country. I've come to enjoy being with the people of this country. We're a multicultural country. We get along with just about every culture and ethnicity. Even on a religious level, we don't get caught up in killing each other in the name of God over different religions. In fact, we go in each other's shops and shop. We go into each other's restaurants. I go into a Chaldean restaurant. I haven't gone into an Asian restaurant because you don't know what they might put in their food these days. So I don't go there anymore. But I was going to Asian restaurants before all this bullshit happened. We can go into Canadian restaurants, we can go into English restaurants, German restaurants, Italian restaurants, Greek restaurants, all kinds of stuff. We enjoy and share each other's culture and our ethnicities. This is a good country. It's getting effed up the arse, and unbelievably, by these half-wits that are running the country. We need to remove these political so-called leaders, or these bribed associates of the mask cartel and the hand condom cartel and the and the hand sanitizer cartel. We need to remove these bastards. They're getting kickbacks. I mean, I'm looking at the governor in Michigan. I keep thinking, why is she still there? Why haven't they removed her? After all, it's America and they have guns. I mean, I'm half kidding about the last part, but you know what I mean? It's a common fact in America. If they don't like a president, they just shoot him, and be done with him. They don't go through the electoral process. So I think their way might be better. I don't know. We are in a quagmire here. And the reason why we're in this effing quagmire is because we have allowed ourselves to be complicit to bullshit. This would never have happened 25 years ago, I assure you. 25 years ago, Those masks would have lasted all but maybe 5 minutes to 15 minutes. Those things would have been on the ground and somebody would have lit a match to them. Today, what a difference. Today, what a difference. See, you do have power, and let me explain to you the power you have. If you go to a store and you have a health issue, you have a cancer, or you have a respiratory issue, you should not be wearing a mask. That's a health condition that the mask can exacerbate or increase the fatality of what is going on in your health. Okay, so they try to force you to wear that, take them to the human resources, and then do an FRO on them and don't shop there anymore. Guy called me up in Hamilton. There was a store called Longo or something, and he said they weren't letting people in the store unless they had a mask. I said, you do have 3 exemptions. If they're not going to allow you to go into the store, then ban them. Ban them. We need to quit being kiss asses in Canada. Aren't you tired of puckering up and kissing somebody's bunghole? I mean, seriously. Aren't you tired of this? I know it sounds crude and rude, and I'm sorry about the crude and rudeness, but this is what's going on. This is what's happening. America's got the same problem, complicity. But there are some states that are saying, we're not wearing these effing masks anymore. Someone told me today that Vancouver or BC, 90% of the population was not wearing masks. We need to start thinking as a country in this country, in Canada. Americans need to start thinking as a country in America. Europe needs to start thinking as countries in Europe and not allow the dictates of a handful of F-tards to destroy everybody's economy. This is going to further enslave mankind like no other time. And you'll be wearing these lunatic masks, bowing down to a deity that isn't the real God. And for what? And for what? So you can be an eternal slave. See, Bill Gates has been saying this all along, but nobody's interpreting this correctly. He said you cannot go back to normal until everybody in the world gets vaccinated. Now, what is normal? What is normal? I'll tell you what normal is. Normal is you get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. You do the 3-stage thing in the washroom. Do 3 S's. You shower, you shave, and you do the other. You head out door downstairs, you grab your coffee, and you get on the subway, bus, drive to work, to a job you hate doing, but it pays the bills, so you go. You put up 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, having to put up with a boss you can't stand. Then you come home, and then you got to deal with the family situations, the wife, the husband, whatever. And you go through the same frickin' routine day in and day out. This is not normal. This has become a trend that we've all followed, that we've all bought into. See, the smartest thing everybody could do is become self-employed. Then there'd be no corporocracies, there'd be no mega giant corporations controlling the planet. Everybody would have their own business. And a few factories that would be running would not have the power base that they have today. We are in a fascist world. Corporocracy is a nice way of saying fascism. When corporations control nations, when they control and dictate policies to governments, people no longer have any rights at all. At all. And the reason why this happens is because we got complacent, and instead of creating our own wealth, we decided to be herded into shops and factories to become slaves for these owners, and making them billionaires that they are today, which then they can now go into a country like Canada, who isn't really that wealthy. Canada's not a wealthy country. It's a poor country. It's got 3 or 4 areas of wealth of pockets. That's it. The rest of the country is broke. So you go to a country like Canada and you offer these broke areas money to sabotage their own people. That's how corporocracies work. That's how corporations work. That's how fascism works. And if you tell people enough bullshit for a long period of time, they will eventually believe it. Told that fellow, I said, you know what, it's going to be our generation that has to stand up, because the next generation ain't going to have anybody. They ain't got nobody now, hardly anybody. The handful that they do have is a handful. We are no longer, like I said, living in a realm where men have testosterone anymore. They have made sure that the testosterone levels have gone right down the toilet. How would you like some atrazine? Hey, how about some glyphosate? Oh, hey, look at that. We got this pesticide here that's got a nanotechnology to it. It's a smart dust, smart sensor, smart computer, smart dust. It'll go into your body and rearrange your DNA. It'll screw up your endocrine system. How about eating some GMO corn that will alter the male endocrine system to something more feminine? Oh, look. We got the guys drinking beer. Look at the boobs on those guys. Look at the ass they have on them. Wow, talk about turning them into a mutation. That's what's going on. This is what's going on. And, then what happens is everyone gets addicted to their vice, right? Well, give me my beer. Give me my beer and my tobacco. My tobacco and my beer. That's how everybody, it's the mentality. Give me my shine. Give me my whiskey. Give me my. Or now we refine the addiction. Give me my fentanyl. Yeah, fentanyl. Sign me up, baby. Give me my benzos. Yeah. See, then what happens is you lose all scope of reality. These guys are right in front of us taking bribes. Right in front of us creating mandates that have absolutely no value. Right in front of us, giving us technology that doesn't do shit except make you sick and make them rich. That's what it does. And we are just sitting there being compliant. And like I said, if anybody has the audacity to even mention something like this to you about you wearing a face mask, you should light into their ass so deep that they'll be feeling, their great grandchildren will be feeling that pain. I'm not kidding. Don't allow anybody to intimidate you, make you complicit, or take away your rights to make a choice. Once you do that, you may as well kiss your ass goodbye, because now you don't have anything. Always remember, if you don't have a choice, you're a slave. You're still a slave. But right now, you have a choice factor, where you can determine what type of slave you're going to be. But we're all slaves. We're all slaves. Nothing has changed. Since the days the Hebrews were in Egypt for 300 years, being programmed by the Egyptians to be good little slaves, till the current time and day today, not a damn thing has changed. Nothing. The same procedures, the same protocols, the same conditioning, the same programming they did to the Hebrews in Egypt, they've done to the world. They've done to the world. So don't think for 1 minute that we've progressed. We haven't. Don't think that the technology we have is something spectacular. It isn't. It's been done before. The only thing that has been constant is that mankind has never shaken the shackles of slavery ever. And if they shaken the shackles of slavery, talk about a tongue twister, they wound up going right back to it by the third generation, being slaves. Being slaves. Forsaking what made them a great nation. They will forsake those things, principles, godly beliefs, faith in the truth, for some inconsequential material wealth. How would you like some gold? How would you like some silk? How would you like some drugs? Yes, we can provide that all for you. All you have to do is surrender your rights. Yes, just surrender. And you'll have all these wonderful things. Isn't that always the caveat? Isn't that how they always, propagate this bullshit? We get caught up on that TV world, watching that idiot box. See, I sometimes go back and watch some of the old programs I watched when I was a kid in the 60s. I watched, Password, and I watch Match Game, and I watch, once in a while, I watch Let's Make a Deal. I just look at them, short bits. The Match Game I watch sometimes, because I'm studying what they did, how they did what they did with the MK Ultra program there. But when you look at all those programs, they were all designed to distract and educate, or distract and program. So when you watch those programs and you got sucked in because they made it fun and happy and whatever, those programs are all by design to program everybody to think along a unified way. It's easier to create a one world government when everybody's thinking along the same lines. Now in this one world government, they're trying to dilute the faith that most of us have. That'll be entirely up to you what you do with that. But we need to really take a stand on what we believe as well. See, when the government of Canada decided to allow Muslims to have more status than anybody else, that created a problem for the Muslims. That really did. And now, you can see if they'd given them the same status as everybody else, nobody would have cared. For the most part, where I live, nobody does care. Nobody cares. Muslim, Christian, Hebrew, whatever. Nobody cares. Buddhist, Hindu, nobody cares. Everybody tries to get along on whatever level we can. But nobody cares. Nobody cares about some of the stupidity that the governments have tried to prove. So we see a lot of things here that the government tries to instigate. We need to be on guard. As Canadians, we need to be on guard, and we need to pay attention to what those morons in Ottawa are doing. We need to pay attention to what those morons in Queen's Park are doing. You need to pay attention to what they're doing in Alberta. What's the governor doing there? What's the mayors of Calgary doing in Edmonton? What's the mayor of Hamilton doing? Who's paying them? Who's causing them to be bribed? I mean, seriously, think about, like what I said earlier, you got masks that do sweet F-A, nothing. And yet they're mandating that everybody wears a mask. What for? If they don't do anything, why wear them? And as I said before, if you got a cancer, that mask will create what they call an anaerobic effect, which can spread your cancer. Why are you wearing them? You have the exemption. Don't be afraid. The Bible used to say, fear not, fear not, fear not, fear not. It got to be almost like a parrot saying it. Fear not, fear not. Don't be afraid. Stand up for your rights. Reminds me of a song by Bob Marley. That song, get up, stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up, don't give up the fight. Get with it. Those words have more truth than they ever had. Speak for yourself. Don't allow anybody to make you comply to some bullshit. Ever. If a bank does not allow you to go into their system, just tell them you're going to withdraw your money. That's simple. And if enough people say we're going to withdraw our money, you can kiss our Mediterranean ass, guess what? They will kiss your ass after a while. Then you'll show them who has the real power. See, that's what I'm saying. You have that ability, all of us do. I like I said, I get to a point, I can't really say what what I want to say here, because I get to a point where I just sometimes, see, God allowed me to grow up in the ghetto in Detroit, so you learn a lot of things in the ghetto. You see how things get done. It's like, and really, and there used to be a song saying the world is a ghetto. That's true too. See, we're all slaves living in a ghetto. And the perspective or the perception we have is that our ghetto is better than somebody else's ghetto. But the ghettos, all the ghettos are being controlled the same way, keeping everybody enslaved and believing whatever bullshit they're telling you today. Oh, you gotta have the mask. The COVID boogeyman is coming to take you away. Make sure you wear your hand condoms. So this way, when you have your hand condoms on, whatever you touch will be safe. And pretty soon they're gonna have you wear a body condom. Oh, put on your body condom. Please put it on. You'll be protected. You'll be protected from sex. You'll be protected from COVID. You'll be protected from bacteria. You'll be protected from everybody and everything around you. You will be protected. You can now be safe because you have that body condom. I'm laughing because you know what? I can see this coming. I can actually see this coming. I can see that the mayors of the communities all over Ontario especially are looking at people in their constituency and saying these people are really stupid. They are effing stupid. Wow, let's just take advantage of them. Let's make them wear a mask. We can buy stock in the mask. We can buy stocks in the rubbers, in the hand rubbers. We can buy stock in the hand sanitizers. Hell, we'll be rich. Most of them will be dead. There won't be enough of them to fight back. Hell, we'll be rich. Think about it. Think about it. Eventually, they're going to start using, again, the same smart technology they're using in plants and other things. Eventually, they're going to probably start raining the same smart dust on people. If they want to activate something in your DNA, they can do it. That technology is not something that's coming. It's already here. Like I said, we're living in a world of frequencies. We're living in a world of programming. We're living in a world of AI. And the AI has got all the ghettos ready, rocked and rolled, and integrated. And he's got those people in the ghettos all wrapped up and integrated as well, and they are going to stay as slaves because they don't know how to think. They don't know how to read. They just follow the program, follow the system. Yeah, I was listening to George Carlin today, and two of them I got sent, and one he talks about germs. These two I've watched many a time, and they crack me up because the truth he was saying back then about germs and about the system and how there's a party going on and we are not invited and that you have no rights and that they got you by the balls, he was correct. And nothing's changed. Nothing has changed. He pointed this out back then, and he talked about this germophobia. And he mentioned about germophobia and how Americans were so ridiculously easily made to be afraid of germs. Well, I got news for you. Canada is just as bad. You know, I got people that live out in the rural area, and they tell me about certain areas out in the county and how stupid they are there and how germophobic they are. For nothing. You know, this is what gets me. A doctor will tell you got a 0.001% chance of dying from this, and these half-wits don't pay attention. They don't read this. They don't see this. Right over their head. Whoop. Right over their head. You know. All they see is the boogeyman, the boogeyman. Oh, the boogeyman's coming. Oh, the boogeyman. Oh, I can't wait for the boogeyman to come. Oh, the boogeyman. How come you're not wearing your mask? The boogeyman's coming. How come you're not wearing your mask? So, because when the boogeyman comes, I won't be dead. You will be. Because you're wearing your mask. The boogeyman's coming. The boogeyman. Oh, oh, oh. Oh. I think tonight was one of my nights to get as like my pet peeve night or something. friend of mine contacts me from Alberta, and she's always sending me stuff, so I read a lot of her stuff, so we talk on the phone. And she tells me, out there, everybody's doing their yoga and they're doing Om, and everybody's saying you've got to be more positive, happy thoughts and all this bullshit. And I said, did you ever watch the Demolition Man? She said, no. I said, so I explained to her a scene that they were down in the sewer, and he had been exposed to this centuries ideology and AI bullshit. And everybody was telling him to be happy, joy, happy, joy. And he was looking at everybody thinking, what the bloody hell happened to mankind? Anyway, he gets into the sewer scene, and he starts talking with this guy, and the guy, finally he blows his stack, says, be well, happy, joy, give me that gun. He was like livid. And I laughed at that scene. I'm thinking, that's about it. The fantasy and the foolishness that some people get into, that because they can't face the scope of this reality, and that this reality is on the very edge of a precipice, and they don't want to look down because they might get scared and fall, or they might actually die. Now we're having happy, joy, be well thoughts, and then if you don't have that aspect of it, you got people paranoid to no end that you might carry a disease, And you know what gets me on top of all that? This has been going on since what? February, March, somewhere along there, maybe January. By now, if, let's say, this thing was real, let's say that the Corona boogeyman was real. Not saying it is, I'm saying it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. But let's say, perhaps, this was all real. Okay, I will give it a 0.001%, acclaim that it might just be real. 0.001%. That's how much I believe this bullshit. By now, all of us in North America would have been exposed. Everybody. You went shopping, you went outside, you went into a public washroom, you went into a restaurant, even if you went to a Tim Hortons to grab a coffee, you went into a supermarket, you went into a clothing store, a hardware store, whatever. Just being outside. We would have, if this was real, we would have all been exposed. The infection would have went into our eyes and into our ears. As a result, we'd have all had COVID-19, COVID-20, COVID-21, COVID-22 is around the corner. Just wait, it's coming. By now, we would have all had herd immunity. Herd immunity. I'm thinking about this, and I'm thinking, what in the hell are they got these people buying into this bullshit? They'd all got the antibodies in them by now if this was real. And you want to wear a mask. I feel protected wearing my mask. Are you going to kiss an elephant's ass? What? Why would you wear a mask? Doesn't stop anything. I'm sure it wouldn't stop whatever you would have got from the elephant if you kissed its backside. Yeah, it's like I said. This stupidity is incredible. Nobody thinks. Just follow and comply. I hear and obey. Igor, come here. I need you, slave. Come here, Igor. I hear and obey. Choose. Make a choice. Make a choice for yourself. If you got to fight and argue with somebody, so be it. Let them have it. I'm not saying physically fight with them. I mean, if they come at you physically, defend yourself. But if someone's going to come at you and say, well, how come you're not wearing your mask? I said, you got one on? And they said, yes. Is it working? Yes, and FRO. Speak Canadian. I do. I have no problem with that. I'm in this country. That's how we speak. That's how the Canadian language works here, Everyone's polite and well mannered, but you know what? When you get into these ridiculous things, you just FRO. Mind your own business. You are not an authority. You're not a medical staff. You're not a doctor. And just because you believe the fairy tales on TV, doesn't mean everybody else does. You know. Then ask them a question. Ask them a simple question if they get into this. Do you have any cancer? Do you have any respiratory issue? Then why are you wearing the mask? You have an exemption. That mask puts you in a state of anaerobic state, oxygen depleted state. Oxygen depleted, which means that the germs and the infections and the cancers inside the body now can proliferate and progress even faster. Like I said earlier, this is the perfect weapon. This is the perfect killer. The assassin that you don't see because he's on your face. Killing you slowly. You know, amazing, eh? Just amazing. I didn't think I was going to be able to talk this long tonight, to be honest with you. I thought it was going to be a shorter show. So that's the way it usually goes. You think you don't have enough material, but I didn't really write down a lot of links tonight. I got 4 up there that you might want to look at. I want everybody to look at the nano skin toxicity because everyone's hung up on this 5G bullshit. Have a hard look at that, you know, and then see if 5G has anything really to do with it. Programmable materials that can be integrated with DNA is the culprit to most of these health issues today. We didn't have 5G 50, 60 years ago, but we did have ultrafine particles or nanoparticles that would cluster and collect inside the body, causing all kinds of autoimmune disorders or all kinds of cancers. I don't believe any of the health issues that we have today are not tied to some form of epigenetics. I think in all cases, epigenetics is playing a major role in every disease known. Anything that can cause a genetic or DNA alteration is going to disrupt the immune system functionality. It's going to also disrupt the physiology of the body. So this is before all these frequencies came in. We are already having these health issues. Okay, so in the last 12 years, we've expanded the awareness on nanobiotech, and everything that's tied to carbon C60, fullerenes, quantum dots, and the whole 9 yards. So pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention. All right, on my site, you got a bunch of people there. Sherry at Three Churches. You've got Three Hearts Church. Sorry, Sherry at Three Hearts Church. You got Yanni there on the YouTube channel. You've got Brian. You got Shai in Israel. You got myself. If you can help them financially, please do so. If you can't, share their information. Share it. All right. I also state near the end of my shows all the time, read the Gospels. Read the Gospels. The Gospels are good news. That's what the word gospel means. Read what Jesus had to say. I keep telling everybody, read what Jesus had to say. Don't let anybody bullshit you. Don't let anybody try to teach you anything. First, read the Gospels. And if you don't understand something, have a one-on-one with the Great One that says, can you please show me what you mean? He'll be more than glad to interpret for you what you need to know. And then if you need to find fellowship or other believers, again, have a chat with the Almighty and see where it goes. Sherry's down in Texas, so if you want to get a hold of her, get a hold of her. You read the Gospels? Give her a shout. Hey, Sherry, you know, I heard somebody on the show mention your name. What do you got? Show me what you got. Don't say that because she's got some testosterone, this woman. She'll tell you what she's got. She'll let you know it with the Bible. I'll tell you. So anyway, she's one of the few people I met that's got testicular fortitude. I got to tell you. And go watch her YouTube channel. You'll see why I say what I say. This is not a negative thing. This is a very positive thing when I'm saying about her because she's got more balls than most men I know. She stands up for the truth. She represents Jesus, and she tells you what's going on in the real world. She's not going to blow sunshine up your ass, and she's not going to say joy, joy, happy, happy bullshit either. So check her out. Check out what she's got to say. Check out her YouTube channel. You know, she's not like me. I approach the gospel in a very different manner. She has a very gentle manner, but she's straight. She ain't gonna screw you. Alrighty. On that note, you know, we're still here by the grace of God. Always remember that. All right, to the next what the hell is it? To the next show. To your health, eh? Take care.